What's up, guys? Penny. I know that there's a lot of people who have a lot of questions to answer about their relationships with Jeffrey Epstein. Some of them have been live on our show, like Alan Dershowitz. And he's like, release everything, let the chips fall where they may, and the people who are trying to hide something, well, maybe there's a reason why. Bill Clinton's letter to Jeffrey Epstein was just published by the Wall Street Journal. This was a letter for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday. The year was 2002 when all these letters were being written. Bill Clinton wrote to Jeffrey Epstein about children, per se, about Jeffrey Epstein's childlike curiosity, which is a weird way to put that. And, well, I guess you could say that Bill Clinton knew Jeffrey Epstein better than anybody on the entire list. And the reason why is that Jeffrey Epstein had visited Bill Clinton in the White House 17 different times, taking Ghislaine Maxwell with him every single time. Bill Clinton flew on the Lolita Express over 30 times, went to the private island and everything like that. Very unique little relationship here that they had. Of course, Jeffrey Epstein also had oil paintings of Bill Clinton in a DNA-soaked dress hanging inside of his mansion. So they were close, and this was the note that was written. It's reassuring, isn't it? This is allegedly Bill Clinton's own hand writing this. It's reassuring, isn't it, to have lasted as long across all the years of learning and knowing adventures and illegible words. I can't read it. Okay. And also have your childlike curiosity, the drive to make a difference, and the solace of friends. Does that sound like Clinton? I don't know, man. A spokesman for Clinton declined to comment on the birthday message, which was reviewed by the Journal. He referred to the Journal to previous statements. The former president had cut off ties more than a decade before Epstein was arrested in 2019, and didn't know about Epstein's alleged crimes. More than a decade? What are you talking about? 2019. Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of sex trafficking in 2008. So, did you see him after that? You know, a lot of very important people did, like Bill Gates. Here we go. Jeffrey Epstein's birthday book included letters from Clinton. We've been calling for this, by the way, and it's why it's important that we cover it, obviously. You know, he said, why don't you publish the Bill Clinton letters? If you're going to publish the lurid, bawdy, obscene Donald Trump letter, which was like a poem typed out on a typewriter with a painting from Donald Trump. Does that sound like Donald Trump? Donald Trump writing poetry? Like some type of vaudevillian thespian? And then using words like enigmatic? Does that sound like Donald Trump? No, it doesn't. We said release the Clinton letters, so here we go. Clinton writing about childlike curiosities for Jeffrey Epstein, and they use a perfect cover image here. This is one of Jeffrey Epstein's many, many visits to the White House with Bill Clinton. Here's the letter. In the end, Ghislaine Maxwell was successful in getting Bill Clinton to submit a letter. It included a page with a single paragraph in Clinton's distinctive scrawl. So unlike the typewritered Donald Trump, isn't that interesting? So Donald Trump does like a typewriter thing that could easily be a fake or a forgery, because how are you going to track back a typewriter? There's like no print, there's no handwriting, there's no scrawl. But here you can actually find Bill Clinton's own hand. I mean, I guess you could do a forgery, but really, you're going to go out of your way to do that? So here's what I've read to you, talking about the childlike curiosity of Epstein and the spokesperson denying it. The former president was among 5 dozen people, including Trump, billionaire Leon Black, fashion designer Vera Wang, media owner Mort Zuckerman, who ended up with letters in the book, according to documents revealed by the Journal. There you go. Here's some of the people. Maybe you don't know all of them. You do know some of them, though. The letter bearing Trump's signature was one of the more memorable pages. Trump called the letter a fake thing. Now he's suing the Wall Street Journal, who refuses to release the original copies of it. This is what is frustrating, is why don't you release the primary source documents? You have an obligation, of course, if you're going to do reports like this, to release the primary source documents. Clinton and Trump were listed under the Friends group, 20 other associates, billionaires and so on. All right. None of the other people commented. There was a business group included. Okay. Investment bankers and so on. Other people were grouped under categories such as science, Brooklyn, and family. Yeah. Okay. Love and kiss. Some of the people are signing it. Love and kisses. This is Leon Black. He's a billionaire. A spokesperson for Black, co-founder of Apollo Global Management, declined to comment. Declined to comment. Declined to comment. Got it. Well, I'm glad that they're finally prying into Clinton. He seems to be the person with the very most to hide here, who's clearly the closest with Epstein. For some reason, nobody wants to ask Bill Clinton about this at all, even though, according to his friend Kevin Spacy, Bill Clinton was on Epstein's jet with a bunch of teeny little girls. Not my words.
Very fortunate that President Clinton introduced me a lot of business leaders in London because he knew I was coming to the Old Vic. Do you know who I never asked for anything? Was Jeffrey Epstein. I didn't want to be around this guy because I felt he put the president at risk on that trip to South Africa because there were these young girls. And we were like, who is this guy? So I will say that
there were young girls on those flights.
There were young girls on those flights, yeah. And that's been out. They've talked about it. But here's my point. There's a big difference between not remembering that I met some guy and some woman on a humanitarian trip where my focus was entirely on what we were there to do, and not remembering whether I went to somebody's island. So I never went to Jeffrey Epstein's island. I did not know him, and I never saw him or her after that morning at Buckingham Palace. He didn't even come to Buckingham Palace.
Is it true that Prince Andrew sought your...
So that's Kevin Spacey. Why isn't that the most famous clip on earth? Kevin Spacey saying there were a bunch of teeny little girls dancing around on the plane with Bill Clinton. You can see now why Donald Trump started his presidential campaign 10 years ago by saying...
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
Okay. Bill Clinton asked about this only one time on the record by some dude in a selfie line.
Any comments on the alleged allegation of your connection with Jeffrey Epstein?
You see, this is his chief of staff right there. Comes running up. I didn't mean to mute it, but this is the chief of staff. This is Clinton's chief of staff comes zooming in there to say, no. Whispers in his ear. No. Watch. No. I think the evidence is clear. Your evidence is clear, Bill. The evidence is that you liked Epstein's childlike curiosity. I mean, I don't know what, let me tell you, I thought that the Donald Trump letter sounded insane and fake and silly. This is Wall Street Journal thing. Please produce the original source documents. Same thing with Clinton. If it's in Clinton's handwriting, then produce the documents. Why can't you do that? According to the Wall Street Journal, they don't have them. So this just seems insane. It just seems ripe for manipulation, for media manipulation, these kind of things. So I'll apply the same standard, honestly. But yeah, I think the evidence speaks for itself. Well, here's the evidence. Bill Clinton in a blue soaked dress. Gross. Donald Trump today saying you need to start asking Clinton these questions. You need to start asking Bill Clinton these questions. Why aren't you asking Bill Clinton about this? And it's a great line of questioning. President Donald Trump called out Bill Clinton on television. You ought to be speaking to Bill Clinton about the island. He went there 28 times. They're a bunch of sick people. That's my boy. That's my boy. There's Donald Trump back in action, locking in. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.